This is Hampley III from Spiritual Combatants, where we're training soldiers for Christ. I want to thank you for joining me for this message where I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons you should not give up on your dreams. And many of us have dreams and goals when we're younger, different talents and gifts. And sometimes as the time goes on and it seems like those goals are further and further out of our reach, and we give up on them and we put them off on the side and we never return back to them. But I want to give you these 5 quick reasons why you should not give up on those dreams and goals that you have. So number 1, God gives us gifts and talents to be used. And so what I want to do, I want to show you, I just received a t-shirt that came in of our design that we have for Spiritual Combatants. And so this is one of the images that we have, our second t-shirt. And so this design, I originally created in 2001. And most people don't realize that I grew up as a graphic designer. There was no preaching, there was no writing books, there was none of that. And so in the 4th grade, I saw one of my classmates, they were drawing like the pencil box, and they were drawing, there was like eagles on it and all these different type of images. And I was like, man, I would love to learn how to draw. And so that summer, I started drawing. And man, where I started was a long way from what I have today. But I had people with their face turned like to the left, and everybody had their hands behind their back. I didn't know how to draw any type of fingers, and my dad really took some time to invest in talent gift to grow it. He took me around to different classes, art classes, and then also put me in schools for magnet schools for the arts, for the visual arts, and to where I can kind of grow and develop my talent. And so then it grew into, I learned these different mediums, but my favorite was always like the cartooning graffiti design. I grew up in that genre. It just always had my heart. And when I was about 17, I had an opportunity to work for a t-shirt company. And so I had several different designs, and they chose about 4 or 5 of them. And the first time I saw one of my t-shirts on a shirt, man, I was absolutely in love. I was like, man, since then I always wanted to have a t-shirt company. I always wanted to own one. And after that moment, I joined the military, and my skills got a little better. I got a computer, learned how to do more vector graphic, vector art, and kind of cleaning up the design a little bit more. And so the skills improved, but I still didn't know how to create t-shirts. And I kind of just put it off on the side. And after a while, when I started preaching and teaching, then I drew less and less. And I used the gift and talent for other things, but it wasn't primarily in what I always wanted, because I always wanted to own a t-shirt company, and that was always my biggest desire. But then when it kind of faded away, then I lost sight of it because I was doing other things. But that was always something that was deep down that I really want to do. It's not so much to make money. For me, just to see this design on a t-shirt, I don't have to sell any shirts. I mean, this is just a really big moment for me to be able to see this come to fruition. So, but in number 2, that your gift may be used differently than what you originally thought. And so, just like for me, I didn't know what to do with this art gift, this artistic talent that God gave me. I thought about going into animation, but I wasn't really good. I couldn't draw. I had a hard time drawing the same image the same way each time. And so I was like, well, maybe they're not for me, even though I have a desire to do it. But those t-shirts, man, that really stuck with me. But then when I moved away from it and started, further and further away from drawing, and I didn't draw as much because I was preaching and teaching, I still used the gift in other ways. I may have used it in my job. I used it also I had a short time where I was doing logo design for different people. Someone would come to me, and I just say, look, just tell me about your business. And so as they were talking about their business, I mean, God would give me an image of what their logo would be. And I'd say, let me sketch something out real quick, and I'll get it back to you. And so that happened several times. I wasn't really interested in doing logo design in that method, because it just felt like it was like kind of like the joy of drawing. I love drawing because when I drew, it kind of put my mind in a different place. I was at ease. I was at peace. There were times when I was drawing during a class I had in 1994. I was taking college classes, and there was this humanity class, and I was just drawing and doodling on the page the whole period. And people didn't think I was paying attention, but I got to be in the class. I was paying attention, but my mind was zoned out. I was at peace, and it was always just gave me that sense of not purpose, but it always just kind of just gave me this sense of accomplishment and just desire just to find that just inner peace and joy for me for for drawing. And so it's always been a blessing. But I didn't really want to do it in a business sense in that. So I used it for like art, not for website design. So in my website, spiritualcombatants.com, I've done all the artwork for that. I've also done the artwork for all the book covers that I wrote as well. There's also been some other things in my military career I've been able to design. We have like military coins I've been able to design, and other like annual awards and other events. I've done a couple of things for churches and for some other ministries here and there. But the big thing is that you want to be able to use the gift that God gives you, the one He gives you, just whatever comes out in front of you. Sometimes it may not be what your ultimate desire is. I want to have a t-shirt company, but maybe the t-shirt company isn't coming, so let me just kind of use the gift as God is giving it to me. And this is in number 3, because when the gift is, you have this gift. Let me finish number 2 real quick. But sometimes the gift may not be used the way you originally thought, and some people get mad about that, because I want to have a t-shirt company, or I want to own a business, and I want to have a restaurant, and I can't have a restaurant. But God may want you to just be cooking for people at the house, but we can't get mad because the gift may not be able to be used in a manner that we thought. That is not the time for that. But what we have to do in number 3 is that we have to keep operating our gift, or your gift, in the manner that is needed. And so even though now, my wife, she always wanted to own a restaurant, but she's cooking, so she just spent time just cooking. And after a while, she's just using the gift to feed people. But then also, when you're bringing people together for food, it's for fellowship, times to talk and to share your life issues and to bring people together. So that's what she was doing all those years. She always had the desire to go out and to have a restaurant, but what she was using, whatever, what was coming in front of her, is needed just to cook for people, to be able to bring them together, have a time of ministry, of fellowship, and enjoying one another's company. And so that's what she's been doing. And so even for me, because as I was going through, I was using a gift that it wasn't like the desire or the intended way I thought it would be used, but whatever was coming forward towards me, then I was using it in that manner. And so what we have to do is not to lose heart or to get upset about it, but continue to let our light shine. And so in Matthew 5:14-16, it says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." And so sometimes what'll happen is, as we're moving and we're doing those things, sometimes our desires change. Like my wife, she doesn't have the desire to have her own a restaurant anymore. She's like, hey, I don't want to be on my feet all day. There's other things I'd rather do. But she has a different desire that she has now in her heart. So sometimes your desire may change in that process. And so I've always wanted to own a t-shirt company, never really put a lot of focus on it. After a while, and I haven't drawn anything. It's been several years since I've actually drawn anything on paper or on the computer, but I just kind of kept using the gift however it's in front of me. If it's website design and book covers, then I'm just going to use it for that. Or I also send some things out on Instagram as well and some of the other social media sites. Then I'll just continue using the gift for what it's needed for right in front of me. And so that's what's important for us, not to get upset and not to get mad. And sometimes we do. There's been times for me, just to speak personally, I've been wanting to separate or retire from the military since I was at year 10. I'm at year 23 now. And I probably ask God at least once or twice a week about separating from, retiring from the military. And so I have about a year and a half left, a little bit less, to where I'm eligible for retirement. But I ask Him all the time. All the things that I'm doing right now with videos, writing books, we're running two businesses, all the preaching and teaching that we do, it's a lot. And so, and plus you have, you're serving your country at the same time. And I'm like, Lord, I would love to be able to do this for you full time. There is nothing else that I want to do with my life other than preaching and teaching the gospel, doing videos and doing these things. And it would be so nice if I could retire, Lord, and be able to do this, kind of in a full-time manner. But He told me probably about 10 years ago that what I could do for Him, I could do in the military. And so that let me know right then, like, oh man, I'm gonna do 30 years in the military. And it's not a bad thing to not in that sense. So I don't want anybody to think that I don't want to serve my country, but I really have a desire and a heart to serve God, and I want to go full board. But for what he has for me was not for me to jump out of the military and to just run. For some people, that's the cross that they have to bear. That's the walk that God has them to go on, or the path, but that's not my path. And so I had to be willing to accept that. And so I ask all the time, I'm very persistent. It's kind of like he teaches as far as teaching with prayer. So I'm very persistent about prayer, and God will tell me, just continue to be where you're at, or he'll sometimes he's silent, but most of the time he'll give me another word of confirmation to kind of tell me the direction to go. He has, just as far as continuing to work for him and be in the military. So I just have to continue to do, just continue to live what's in front of me, have good time management, making sure that we add the right pieces and team as things are getting, now we're about to do t-shirt sales, and I won't even talk to you about sales tax. I never even realized about the sales tax. You got to register in every state that you're selling in. That's a whole nother level. So we definitely need to have, other people on our team, to hire different people, so to kind of help us carry the weight so that we can continue to focus on the videos and the preaching and teaching. And that's one of the things that I want to work on this year, so that we're not trying to do all the finances, try to do all these other different things, but kind of like it with the disciples and in Acts, I want to be able to focus on preaching and teaching of the word. And so that's what we're going to focus on now. So sometimes, your desires change, or the direction that God has you to go in will change, but don't have a bad heart about it, and don't be upset about it, because God is still is going to use you. He gave you a gift. He will use that gift, but it may not be in the manner or the method that you originally thought, at least initially. All right. So then number 4, what you want to be able to do is delight yourself in the Lord. And so in Psalms 37, 4 and 5 says, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart. Commit of thine heart, commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And so when I'm thinking about delighting yourself in the Lord, I mean, it's in a sense of where I'm not thinking about it. Like I'm thinking about retirement all the time, not in that manner, but kind of like with the t-shirts, where you just get lost in him. You're just working, you're serving the Lord, you're serving his people, and you're just doing what's in front of you. I mean, I wasn't thinking about t-shirts or anything like that. We came out and we're starting to form the church. God puts on my heart to do videos. And so now we're doing videos, and he started putting on my heart about doing t-shirts. And so he spoke a word to Tanya, my wife, about t-shirts. And so now we're doing t-shirts. And so I'm not sure where we're going to go with that. That'll start in March. We're just kind of getting some things prepared. But as we're kind of moving and growing, I just wanted to delight myself in him. I wasn't thinking about those things, but there'll come a time when we delight ourselves in him, he will give you the desires of your heart. Now, when you think about, I talk about my wife, she no longer has the desire to have a restaurant, but she has a different desire. And so there'll come a day when God will give her the desires of her heart. He'll bring those things to pass. We just have to continue to commit our way to him. So when you think about that, when committing your way unto the Lord, that means when I commit my way to him, Lord, I will go the way that you desire for me to go. I'm going to commit my way to wherever he wants me to go. And so, but in that process, he will give you the desires of your heart. He will commit thy way to the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. So I'm going to trust in God that one day, and so I mean, in our lives, we work on this like almost like a microwave society where we want things now, and a lot of us do. God may take 20 years to be able to prepare you and to build you and to get you to the place where, okay, now it's time. But sometimes we got to just be patient and work where we are, delight ourselves in him, commit our way to him, give all unto him, and he will give us the desires of our heart, and he will bring those things to pass. And so, and number 5, and this is the last thing, that God makes everything beautiful in his time. And so in Ecclesiastes 3, 1-8, let me read that real quick. It says, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And then in verse 11 says, and he have made everything beautiful in his time. He has also set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. And the Amplified version kind of says that he also placed eternity, which is like a sense of divine purpose, in the human heart, like this mysterious longing which nothing under the sun can satisfy except God. Yet man cannot find out or comprehend or grasp what God has done, his overall plan from beginning to the end. So when God is making everything beautiful, it's time. You are a beautiful workmanship for God that he's making beautiful in his time. He's creating you for a purpose on earth, but he is ultimately creating you for eternity with him. That's what he's doing with our lives. And so he's making it beautiful. And there may be some things that he's given you early on, or some things and desires. It may not be. He may change the desire. You may have a different type of desire, but he'll give you desires of your heart. He'll bring those things to pass as you commit your way to him. But the one thing that we all need is him. And so instead of us kind of going off and say, you know, because I can't get what I want, I don't want to serve God. Or it's this ultimatum type thing to say, you know what, I'm going to use the gift that God's given me. He's giving you the gift for a reason, and he's using the gift, but it may not be in the way or manner in which that you thought it would be used in. And so if you have questions, you can always go to your father. Just like talking about retirement, I go to him all the time talking about retirement, asking about it. But until that time, there is going to come a time, it's 30 years, I have like 6 years and some change left in the military. There will be a time when I will no longer be in the United States Air Force. I will continue to serve honorably. I'll retire, and then my time will come where I'll be retired and I'm running around for the Lord. But until then, I want to be faithful where I'm at. I want to continue to do these videos and preach and teach and do the things that God is calling me to do and be faithful where I am. And I want you to be faithful where you are. There will come a day when your dreams, those goals, they'll come to pass as you continue to delight yourself in the Lord. You commit your way to him. You trust in him. Those things will come. They will be. But God wants you to be used today, and he's preparing you for that. Why God waited over, you're talking like 16 years for me to see this design come out on a t-shirt. I don't know why. But for whatever reason, maybe it wasn't the right timing. Maybe there's some things that God wanted to do. Like everything is made beautiful in its time, in its season. And it wasn't time for that early on. And I had to accept that. And I did accept that. And I kind of just used the gift as God presented it to me. And I pray that you will do the same. That God's given you a gift and talent. And today it may not be used in the way that you always thought it would be, but it is being used. And it will be used to bring glory to him ultimately. So I pray God will bless you with this message. I pray that you'll be encouraged not to let go of your dreams. Continue to delight yourself in the Lord. Commit your way to him. Trust in him with all your heart, and he will bring those things to pass. So if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, hit us up, like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and until the next time, may God bless you abundantly. God bless.